We're joined by former Baylor football player and Navy football coach, Naval Academy football coach Brian Newberry. I'm David Smoke. What's it like to represent and be a part of that great institution?
Man, it's an honor and a privilege. I really believe I got one of the best jobs in the business. Primarily because of the kind of young men I get to coach here on a daily basis, and I believe in the mission of the academy and what we're doing here, and developing leaders, and I go out and be officers in the Navy and the Marine Corps and serve our country, and it's just really just a privilege.
I know you're coming off the loss to Notre Dame. They jumped on you pretty early. How has your team responded this week?
Good. Been a great week of preparation. Our message is always 1-0, whether it's after a good win or a loss. And certainly you learn from it, and you get better from it, and you move on, and hopefully that serves us better moving forward. But, it's unfortunate things. It felt like we didn't put our best foot forward, but we got to learn from it and correct some of those things and move on. And that's one thing that's been really impressive to me about our football team this year is their ability to do that, to keep the blinders on and just focus on the task at hand. And they'll do that this week, and we're going to have to because we're playing a good football team in Rice.
No question. And they're going through the emotional week of a coaching change. Do you feel like last week was the big stage? You've played in big games before, Navy has, but was it almost maybe too much?
I don't know. I think I don't think the stage was too much. I think we pressed a little bit, and I think we tried to do some things outside of ourselves. The message all week was it's not going to take something superhuman or a miracle to win this game. We just have to be the best version of ourselves, and unfortunately, we didn't do that really. In all three phases, and to take from the game as well. But I think next time we get that opportunity, having played in a game like that and learning from it, we'll be better for it.
Has this been a unique season because of what's happened with what you've done, what Army's done, what Vanderbilt's done? I know they lost last week to Texas, but everyone you hear about the Blue Bloods, the Alpha Dogs, and more and bigger and bigger and bigger, and everyone's going to be left behind. But that doesn't, and maybe in the end this year that's the case, but that doesn't seem to be what we've seen this year.
Yeah, you're right. It's been a really interesting season. I think it's been a great season if you're just a fan of college football in general, and that's really what you want to see. And I think what the portal's allowing some of these teams to do is to go in and find some good players and just create a little bit of more quality than we thought that we might see. Obviously we don't do it here at the academies, but yeah, it's been a fun, exciting year, and I always want to see the academies, not just Naval Academy, have success, and it's a good reflection on all of us and great recognition, and so it's been an exciting year, and really pleased with what we've been able to do so far, and excited about these next 6 opportunities.
We've had you interviewed before, but when you came out of high school from Westmore High School, why Baylor? What was it about Baylor that you wanted to be there?
Yeah, you know what? My grandparents lived in Waco,
okay,
and because of that, my grandfather was a big Grant Taft fan, and so of course so was I. I got a chance to go watch Baylor play Oklahoma at Oklahoma when I was a young kid, and just always left an impression on me. And I wasn't super heavily recruited coming to high school, and it was really an opportunity to kind of come up in the final weeks of recruiting. And so I was just really blessed and fortunate that I had the opportunity and be a part of Grant Taft's last recruiting class. And, but that's what sparked the interest, and obviously private Christian school, great education, and not being too far from home. And so really it was a no-brainer for me.
I have a note from Chuck Reedy. I'm going to give that to you in a minute, but what did Grant Taft teach you?
You know what? Grant was a phenomenal human being. I think he treated his players like they were players before, or people before they were players, and just had a great moral compass. And there was always a lesson to be learned from anything that happened, during the course of the season. And just always appreciated how he treated the players and how he handled his business and ran his program.
Chuck Reedy, Brian was one of those players who always did what was right, hard worker, great attitude, great teammate. Had some injury problems, but also had a positive attitude and work ethic. Looking back, I could see he had all the qualities that made him such a successful coach. Hope this is a a good year for him too. Your thoughts about what that means to you?
Oh, it means a ton. It's awesome to hear that, and what's great about Coach Reedy is I get a text from every week, whether we win or lose, just
Wow.
offering encouragement and a pat on the back, and my career at Baylor was not what I hoped it would be, and partly due to some injuries that I had and some things like that. But to hear him say that, it means a lot to me. I really appreciate that.
Well, you played safety most of the time, right? When you got
Mm.
there, you were a quarterback, safety in high school, one of those multi-sport studs.
Yeah, yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, but I played safety at Baylor.
What was and then I want to get back to your team now, obviously, but yeah, I think it was part of a co-championship in '94 Southwest Conference. It was still then
Mm.
before the Big 12. They also went to the
Yep.
Alamo Bowl. Was there a specific memory at Baylor that still, even though you were there for quite some time, that still to this day might be your favorite?
Specific memory, one my freshman year, winning the bowl game, the Sun Bowl, and letting Grant Taft go out on a high note was
Mm-hmm.
pretty awesome. That's one memory that I certainly have. And that '94 season was a pretty special season as well. But a ton of good memories, and a lot of those memories have nothing to do with the wins and losses, just the relationships that I made there. My best friend in life, I met at Baylor, and I still talk to him on a daily basis. Lives down in Houston, and it's a great experience overall. Although the playing career wasn't what I hoped it would be,
Right.
I have no regrets about going to Baylor, and met so many great people, and was able to play for a lot of great coaches.
You were there at Navy, and then they made the coaching change, and you were the one selected to move on to run the
Mm-hmm.
midshipmen. What did that mean to you?
Well, it meant everything. I mean, I came here and I've been a coordinator most of my career, and
Right.
really loved doing that, and didn't really consider, even being a head coach until maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And so having a little bit of time to start to wrap your mind around what that would look like, how you would run your program, and so had a couple of years to really think and marinate on that, and then to have the opportunity, not just be a head coach, but to be a head coach at the Naval Academy, really beyond my wildest dreams. And I've got to pinch myself coming into work every day. I really feel like I got one of the best jobs in the country. It's a joy to come to work. It's a joy to coach these players, and we have a tremendous staff here. So incredibly fortunate to be here, and again, just beyond my wildest dreams.
I asked you about coaching those young men, and you brought that up. What is it like, though, as far as you don't have to deal with knuckleheads, and that doesn't mean that there's not a mistake or two made, but I mean you're talking about the cream of the crop, man. Brian, that's got to be
Yeah,
fun.
it is. It is. You go out and we recruit nationally to find the right the right guys, the right fit here, and they're just to get into the school at the Naval Academy is a challenge in and of itself, and then to find the kind of guy that can play football in Division One, and then a young man that wants to and willing to serve his country, just makes him special and unique, and it's just a bunch of high character young men that are very ambitious. Yeah, they're fun to work with, and not all perfect angels by any stretch, but we've got great young men and care about each other, love each other, and play for each other, and I think that's when all things being equal, that's a force multiplier for us, and I think that's the reason why we've had some success in this day and age of the portal and the NIL and all those things.
The offense you run, what we've seen Air Force run, what Army runs, and it's been tweaked a little bit, of course.
Mm.
What is that? What you hear about? That's the offense you need to run. Is that the offense you
Yeah.
have to run?
I think so. I think, we got to be unique and different, in everything that we do here. And hopefully that's a little bit of an equalizer. The formula for us is to be able to run the football, obviously, and, try to keep our defense off the field as much as we can. But I certainly do think it's an equalizer. I love the system. We've kind of, the hire of Drew Cronick has been great for our program, phenomenal coach. And combining some of the things he's done in the past with the wing T background, and really marrying that up with some of the under center and gun triple options things, and the things we're doing in the pass game, I think make us really unique and different. And you really can't define what we're doing. It's as different than anybody else in the country, and we're having fun doing it, and it's continuing to evolve week to week. So it's fun to watch.
The precision of it. The precision of it
Mhm.
is I'm old school, 65 years old, and I remember mainly as growing up and even playing that, there was the option, the wishbone, the veer, whatever. I just have always loved that, and sometimes wonder why more schools don't do it. And I know that when the Miami's and the Florida States and them started to have such great speed, it's a little bit easier for them to defend. Do you feel like more
Yeah.
teams should run it, or is it just special for certain programs?
Yeah, I think if you're not better than other people, you need to be different than other people, right?
Uh-huh.
And like I said, you've got to be unique and different here at the academies because there'd be some weeks where the talent level is somewhat equal, but the majority of our games that we play, and our players understand this, we're playing against teams that are a little more talented, a little bit bigger, a little bit faster. And so, what can we do that's unique and different is really important. The schematical part of things, and but how we do it is really what I think what sets it off. With the intangibles, with the effort piece of things, with the discipline piece, the toughness piece, and so you combine those two things, and what you see is some pretty good results.
You, as a defensive coach, when you had to defend a team that ran it, was that like you didn't sleep at night?
Yeah, a little bit. I've fortunately, my coaching career as a coordinator, going back to Kennesaw State, we ran the triple there, and so you got to see it every day in practice. You really got to understand the details and the nuances of what they're exactly trying to do. And so when you defend it every day, you've got a unique understanding of it. You try to get ready for it in a week. It's really hard to grasp all of it, and so I love going against it. I think it's a chess match, and I always love the academy games because of that.
I saw where Kennesaw State, they had a long drought, and then they got Liberty last week. I think it was. It was a great win for them. Do you keep up with all the teams where you've coached before?
Absolutely, especially Kennesaw and Brian Bohannon. I'll give you an opportunity to come up there and still know some guys on that staff and great people, great coaches. And it's been a tough transition for him, but he's a heck of a coach. And to see them have success the way they did, see him keep his team together despite a rough start, was awesome to see them get a win over Liberty.
You are now the head coach at Navy, but you also have been a part of the Broyles as a finalist, the award for the best assistant coach. Was that an honor for you to be a part of that?
Yeah, sure was. I got here in 19, and that was a pretty magical year for us. Went 11-2, and
yep.
And the nomination for that was just a result of our team's success, and we got better defensively. But yeah, it was pretty deal to be recognized and good recognition for our program and for our defense that year.
We mentioned Notre Dame. That game's over. You clear it. Go 1-0. Your team now has a chance to still have a very special year. How difficult or is it to go and face who you have next, but also know that everybody wants to watch the game at the end in December? And, of course, there's been a lot of chatter about that there could be a couple of them with Army-Navy.
Yeah, and I don't think it's difficult at all. I think this team's got the right mindset, and we're focused on this one, and we know we got to take it 1 week at a time to have an opportunity to reach our goals and win this conference is a goal of ours. And then we've always got that game at the end of the year, and we'll be ready for that one, I promise you. But we're not thinking about it right now.
If you had something to say to Grant Taft right now, what would you say to him?
I would just say thanks. He was a phenomenal role model for me, and I tell people all the time I got into coaching because of the impact that coaches had on me. My high school coaches like Grant Taft, and really got to know Coach Taft more. After he was done, he lived there in Waco. He was the president of the AFCA.
Right.
I got a chance to work with him out at his lake house, and really, love those times that I had to spend with him and just talking about life and not necessarily just football. And so just a great human being, and I know he had a tremendous impact on a lot of people, and I could only hope to have, slightly the impact that he had on me with the players that I get to coach.
You play Rice on the road, and they just had a coaching change. It's part of the game. Does that change how you prepare for them this week?
No, I don't think so. It makes it interesting, that's for sure. You think you expect to see a team that's got a little extra juice, that may be playing really inspired football with kind of nothing to lose, and you see these coaching changes happen in the middle of the season. You see teams go out and win games, right afterwards, despite the the disarray that it may seem that they're having. But they're a scary football team. Really good on defense, very capable on offense. Have a really good quarterback that we've seen a couple of years. Obviously transferred from Temple to Rice, so we're very familiar with him. And they played really good football, the last 2 weeks, and so it's going to be a big time challenge for us, and our players know that.
Try to paint a picture of right now Annapolis, Maryland, and what it looks like right now.
Well, I've got a pretty nice office, and it's all glass looking out over the water. There's a bunch of sailboats and yachts, and it's about 70 degrees and perfectly sunny out here today. Beautiful day in Annapolis.
Ryan, you're a class act. Good luck. My father, 1953 graduate of the Naval Academy. That's Craig's grandfather who does a show with me. Paul's dad was U.S. Army, so we have a lot of love and a respect for anything, the academies. But I remember walking that campus back when I was a kid, and we lived in Virginia for 4 years, and golly, what a beautiful place. Great people, great institution. So proud of what you're doing there, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Greg. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Brian Newberry, head coach at the Naval Academy on 365 Sports.